Hello Stampin' friends and welcome. This is Dee Osburn and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today we will be making this Ocean shaker card. Oh my gosh, I love shaker cards. This was so much fun to make. And I'm going to show you exactly how to make this, and all the things that you need to do it will be listed in the description below. We'll go through exactly how to make this fun shaker card. So if you like this video as you go along, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment and a thumbs up. I'll respond to all comments that I get. And so let's dive in. Let's see how to make this fun shaker card. I tell you what, when you give somebody a shaker card, they can't not shake it. As soon as they get it, they shake it. It's so fun. I just love it. All right, so what you're going to need to make this card, I had so much fun making this, can you tell? All right, so what you're going to need to make this card is we're going to start with a piece of Night of Navy cardstock cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to fold that in half. We're going to use our bone folder, and we're going to get a nice crisp fold so that it lays nice and flat for us. Okay, for the inside, you're going to need a piece of Whisper White, and I used the thick cardstock because the front of this card is rather heavy, so on the inside I wanted to use a little bit of a heavier cardstock. So this is it's not Whisper White, we don't have Whisper White anymore, it's basic white thick cardstock. So then you'll glue that to the inside. So we'll do that. My glue is running low, so we're going to have to change that out pretty soon. Try and get every little bit of your product that you can, right? So we're going to tap it down. And if it gets stuck, you can use a safety pin and poke it. And that should take care of your problem there. It tends to happen towards the end of the bottle because there's not much left in there. It gets kind of plugged up. Alright, so put our glue on there. Put that on the inside of our card so that we can write our sentiment. And there we go. Now, you're going to need a piece of this, this is called the, what's it called? It's called the Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper. And this is coming out today, March 2nd. It's available now. So it's a brand new product. It's part of the Waves of the Ocean collection. And this paper is absolutely beautiful. You could use pretty much any one of these for this background piece for your paper. I used this piece, but I'll show you the rest of them. You could use that one. I think that one would be just beautiful. Any of these. I love it. This quality of this paper is amazing. You could go with a coral theme. So there's that. There's this one. I think I'm going to do some kind of a astronaut thing with that. I love that. But this would make a beautiful, beautiful background to this card. I love that. Make a great background piece. You could go with this color, which I think would also be stunning. This one, any one of these. Oh my goodness. Any one of these is going to be perfect for the background to this shaker card. So you get to decide which piece you would like to use. All right, because any of them would be stunning as the background piece. So pretty. I chose this piece, okay, because I liked, sorry about that, I liked all the different colors. And when you cut this up, you get several choices. And so this, I already have mine cut. So here's the piece that I cut, and this is cut at, it's a little bit different than than a regular 5 1/4 by 4 that you would cut like for the inside or a regular card top. This is cut at 5 6/16 by 4 2/16. Okay, and the reason for that is because of the die that we're going to use. All right, we're not going to glue that down yet. I'm going to show you all the other things that we're going to need. You're also going to need a window sheet. A window sheet, and it is also cut at 5 6/16 by 4 2/16. And then you're going to need, I used for this background paper, Pacific Point. So you'll need a piece of Pacific Point, again cut at 5 6/16 by 4 2/16. And here's the reason, I'll show you. So we are going to use these waves dies. No, what are they called? Let me get that out so I can tell you the name of the dies. These are called sea dies. That's what they're called. The sea dies, not the waves dies. The waves make waves. These are the sea dies. All right, sea dies. And inside the sea dies, you get this wonderful piece. Isn't that beautiful? And if you were to cut this at the regular 5 1/4 by 4, when you put this on here and cut it out, you wouldn't have any room on the back to put your foam adhesive, and it would show. And I know that because that's what I did the first time. So you have to cut it at 5 6/16 by 4 2/16. So then we're going to cut this out, and I've already done that. And it comes out like this, and I didn't punch it out yet because I wanted to show you. So when you pull it out, it comes out like this. And then you just pull this middle piece out. Just, you know, kind of, it's very delicate on the bottom, so you have to be careful, but it pulls right out. And then you throw this piece away, okay? And then we'll punch out the little pieces. And this die cuts so nicely. I was so impressed when I was looking at it. It's got these little cuts in here that just make it so pretty. I'm really loving this die. So here, there you go. There's the C part. Okay, the card front, I guess I should say. So these 3 things are going to go together. So what you'll do is you'll glue the window sheet to the back of this Pacific Point cutout piece. So let's do that. And you're just going to put a little line of glue along the very edge of this. Okay. And then the window sheet is going to go on top. And the way I did it, so that I didn't smudge glue all around, I started at the corner, and I held that corner down, and then I placed the other corner, and then I held that down, and then I just let it go. And I went like that. And then I'm going to pick it up and make sure that it's nice and flush. Okay, and we're going to let that dry. We're going to put that to the side, okay, while we do a couple of other things. Let that dry. Put that to the side. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, let me grab out a few more things, is we're going to get just a big scrap of Basic White. Old habits die hard, right? Piece of Basic White. I used this marble paper to stamp my sentiment. I thought it was really pretty. Here's my sentiment, okay? And it just gave it a little more depth, I thought, and it went really nicely, I felt like, with the card. And then I also used the marble paper to stamp and cut out the starfish. So let's do some of that, okay? So I used, for the 2 fish, and they're swimming in opposite directions. So for the 2 fish, I used Pacific point. Okay, so I inked it up and stamped. Okay, and then you clean your stamps. Always clean your stamps. It's important to take good care of your stamps and keep them nice and clean. They'll last a long time if you do that. And then the other fish going the other way in Pacific Point. Okay. And then the octopus. I love this octopus. He stamps so nicely. I don't know if you can see his little eyes, but they really show up when you stamp. Okay, so I've stamped him, and look at his little eyes and his little tentacles. I had so much fun stamping this octopus. I had a couple of friends over yesterday, and we stamped a whole bunch, and we played with this, and we did a night of navy. I'm going to show you some different ones. A night of navy octopus. So if you're using the darker paper, you might want to stamp a darker octopus. I did, here he is in night of navy, stamped off a little bit, so he looks almost kind of gray. We also did this morning I thought, what would a Calypso coral one look like? I kind of like him a lot. You know, what a nice splash of color. Whew, right? I'm liking that. So those are a couple of different octopuses that we did. Octopi, I should say. So you'll stamp your octopus, and then you're going to cut him out. And as you can see, I already have cut out octopus. I also went ahead and cut out my fish, so I have that cut out too. But what you'll do is you will get, oh, I have another octopus. I forgot about this one. Calypso coral. Look at that one. That's not Calypso coral. That's Coastal Cabana. Coastal Cabana. He's kind of cool too. So I have a lot of those. So anyway, you're going to stamp it. I stamped it for this one. I stamped it in Pacific Point, and then you'll take your octopus die from the Seas dies, and you'll just lay it right over and cut it out. And I did the same thing with the fish dies, and there's two dies because the fish are swimming in opposite directions, so they cut out both directions. So there you go. Now I've already done that. I have the two fish right there, and of course you saw the octopus that I have, the octopi that I have. So we have that. Then I used this marble paper, and I stamped the starfish, and I already cut that out as well. You'll use the starfish die and cut that out, and I'll show you. I have I cut two because I didn't like the first one. The first one that I did, if you can see, I stamped on this brown marbly stuff, and it just made him look dirty. So I did it again, and I like it much better. So I'm going to use this one. So you'll stamp it on here and then cut it out with the die. Then you'll take a piece of this marbled paper and you'll cut your sentiment. But before we do that, I want to show you this set, the Seize the Day set. That's where we're getting all of this. It's Seize the Day, and this it has a sentiment that says, "Thanks from the depths of my heart." It's got "Wishing you oceans of happiness." That's the one we're using today. Seize the Day, which I love that. There's a crab, and this is what he looks like cut out. Okay, cute little crab, right? You could use that. Instead, I put the starfish on the front, but you could put a crab on the front, or you could put him inside. The options are endless, right? There's some bubbles and some seaweed. I guess, I don't know, sea plant. And then there's this starfish, not starfish, what's that called? That is a jellyfish. And we had fun playing with him yesterday too, and stamped and cut a couple of different colors. So there's a few things that we did. So there's some ideas for that. I ended up not using the jellyfish, but you could certainly use the jellyfish instead of the octopus, or put it in with the octopus. You know, like seriously, the options are endless. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my Wishing You Oceans of Happiness, and I used Memento Black. Okay. And I'm just going to stamp it right here in the corner. And then I fussy cut it out. And it was super easy. All you do is you kind of follow the words. So you just follow the words. Okay, just follow the words. It dips in there, so I dip in and then I come back out and then go around the bottom. And that's all there is to it. And if you get a pointy edge, I don't really care for the pointy edges, so you just snip it off. And there's my sentiment. Using that Marbleous paper. This paper is a free item in the Celebration catalog, which has ended. So if you didn't get any of this, you could use Balmy Blue cardstock or just white cardstock and brush the edges with some Pacific Point ink. Lots of different ways that you could accomplish that look. Okay. All right, and for the starfish, instead of stamping it on that Marbleous paper, if you don't have any of that, you could just use a very vanilla paper. Would work perfectly. All right, so let's see what we're going to do with this now that it has dried a little bit. See how now it's clear? So I'm feeling confident that I can touch and play with this now. So what you're going to do is you're going to get some foam adhesive strips. All right, and you're going to put them on the back along the edge of this piece. Okay, so I'm just going to pull a whole strip off, and I'm just going to start at the top. Now it's sticky on the one side. It's kind of like a Stampin' Dimensional, and it's got the paper that you peel off to make the other side sticky. So I'm just going to go along the edge here, and I don't want to see it, you know, from this side. So I want it far enough down, but I don't want it so far down that it shows on, you know, through the hole. So you just kind of have to pay attention to what you're doing. Then you take your scissors when you get to the corner, and you snip it off and start a new one. And they pretty much they fit exactly, like one strip will do two sides. All right, and then I'm going to snip off the part that hangs over because we don't want that. Okay, and you could save that as a Stampin' Dimensional if you'd like, or you could throw it away. It's up to you. Now I'm going to get another strip. And when you use up your whole sheet, don't throw it away, because these pieces on the ends, those are good pieces too. So use up all your stuff. You know, you paid good money for that, so use it all up. All right, so again, along the edge, right on the edge, but not so much that you can see it from the other side. Snip it off on the end, and then take your last one, and then I'll show you how to just kind of tuck it in right there. You want to butt it up against, right, on the corners, because you don't want your sequins and things to fall out. All right, so we're going to put it all on there, and then when you get to the end, you're going to push it up against there real good, and then take your scissors and snip it. You want it to come together real flush and nice, just like that. Okay, you can save that piece to pop something up. All right, so now we have this. So we're going to take our background piece, and look how good that would look too. But I really like this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel off, and actually I need to pop out, I see a circle right there that needs, not a circle, but a, you know, it needs to come out, and one that I didn't pop out right there. So let's get that before we get going too far here. There we go. All right. Get off of there. Get off of my card. All right. This window sheet tends to be a little sticky. Not sticky, but staticky. You know, the paper sticks to it. So I love how this, though, does not stick to it. It kind of floats, just like the ocean, right? I love it. All right, so we're going to turn it over. We're not going to pull off the adhesive sheet or the, I don't know, the backing on the top one. We're only going to pull it off on these 3 sides. All right, so the 3 sides, not the top. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, and but let's see, I almost forgot. Before we do that, I want to put my fish in here with some glue dots. And I probably should have done that before I pulled off the backing so I could really see where I want to put them. But I can still do that. I just have to be careful not to touch my paper to the sticky. So I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of this fish. And I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of this fish. Ah, glue dot stuck to me. Okay. And I'm just going to not put this down, but kind of see where I think I want it to go. Yeah, maybe up just a touch. Okay. And then this one can go swimming in the opposite direction like that. So then, see how cute that is? Oh, you can't see because of the glare. See how cute that is? Love, love it. And I'm going to do something a little bit differently this time. On this one, you can see that the octopus floats around. Ooh, the octopus floats around in here. And the thing that I like about that is that he floats around, but the thing that I don't like about it is see how he ends up like sideways and upside down. I'm not sure I like that. So I think on this one, I'm going to attach him down. Let me find the one that I cut out. This is it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it a little differently. And I'm going to put a glue dot on the back this time, on the back of my octopus. And I am going to stick him down so that he doesn't move. And I think I want him right there. Let's look. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick him down. All right, now I'm going to turn this over. I've pulled my adhesive backing off of the 3 sides, not the top, because that's how I'm going to fill it. Okay, so I want to be very careful about putting this on there and match these corners up nicely. Match them up real good. Okay, match them up perfectly. And then adhere that down to your foam, your 3 foam sides. And now I have an opening to put my sequins in. So I've got some sequins here. I have the subtle shimmer sequins. I have the sequins for everything, or sequins for every occasion. I forget what they're called. And then I have these that are old. These are like for years ago, but I like the color and I want some of that color in there. If you have other sequins, put them in there. Use what you have. All right. There's also the, there's another one, sequins, shimmery sequins or something like that, that you can get. I didn't have any of those. So you just take some and throw it down in there. I'm going to put like 3 little pinches of that. It's like cooking. A little pinch of this and a little pinch of that. So I'm going to open this one and we'll put a couple of pinches of this in there. Okay. Oh, I spilled some out, so I'm going to go ahead and use those. Okay. Let's use those. All right. And then I want to put some of these in there. And you just put as much as you want. I want some of this color. And I want some of this color. A little pinch of this, a little pinch of that. I want some of that color. And I want some of this green in there. If you have some blue sequins, that would look great. Whatever you have, fill it up, okay? And let's see, I'm going to show you about how full I put mine, because I have made shaker cards before where I filled it up so full that nothing moved. So you have to be careful. You want to be able to see the sequins at the bottom, so you want to have enough to do that, but not so much that it won't shake. All right, and some of them are gonna, it's staticky, they are gonna stick, but that's okay. It's like they're bubbling up, right? So now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pull off that adhesive backing and close up my card. Make sure that there aren't any sequins on the sticky part, because you'll end up having a spill problem. It won't seal. Look at that. Wow, I love it. So fun. I love shaker cards. All right, now the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a sponge and we're going to sponge the edge of this Pacific point. Now we could have and probably should have done that before we stuck it down, but it's not really going to matter. So let's do that. Okay, so we'll get our sponge and we're going to get some Pacific Point ink. I put my sponge on a binder clip, and that way I don't get ink all over my fingers, right? So we're going to put some ink on that sponge, and then we're just going to brush that edge, brush the edge of that Pacific Point cardstock with some Pacific Point ink. It just gives it a little more dimension. It doesn't look quite so stark. Okay. See how that just gives it a little bit more dimension? Just a little, it just blends better. Now I'm noticing that my designer series paper is poking out a little bit, so I'm going to take my scissors and hold them at an angle and cut just along. I can see where the foam adhesive is, and I'm going to just cut along the back of it so that I don't see that paper. And anywhere else that you see your designer series paper poking out, you can just trim that off because you don't want to see that. All right, and if you have a window sheet poking out, you can do the same thing. Okay, look at that. I'm loving it. I defy anyone to hold a shaker card and not shake it. I challenge you all to do that and test it. Test my theory. Okay, now we're almost done. We're going to bring in our card base, which is Night of Navy. Again, it's cut at 5.5 by 4.25. I'm sorry, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25, and it has a piece of thick basic white cardstock inside, cut at 5.25 by 4. So we're going to take this and we're going to mount it onto here. All right, and we're going to use a lot of glue because it's a little bit heavy. So we'll take our glue and we'll do like we always do along the edge, but then we're going to put glue in the center as well. We want it to hold. So we're going to take it and we're going to place it on our card base. It's so cute. I love it. Press it down. Okay. Press it down. All right. The only thing we have left is to put our sentiment and our starfish. Now with the starfish, I just used a glue dot. So put a glue dot on the back of your starfish and put him right here. Super cute. And then for my sentiment, I did pop my sentiment up. So, and I used 2 dimensionals. So it wouldn't, you know, if you only use 1, it'll, you know, kind of swivel. It could, but if you use 2, it won't do that. So we're peeling those off, placing our sentiment, wishing you oceans of happiness. And this could be any kind of card. This could be a birthday, anniversary, graduation, anything. And especially if you have someone who likes to scuba dive or goes to the ocean a lot or deep sea fish or whatever, this is a great card for them. They would love it. So cute. So here's the 2. Oh, yeah. So we didn't glitter. What do you think? Glitter or no glitter? I kind of have to have glitter. I have to have glitter. So we're going to glitter. I always have to have glitter. So we're going to take our 2A glue pen. And on this one, I put it on the bubbles too, but I'm not sure that I liked it. So this time I think I'm just going to put it on the seaweed or seagrass or whatever this stuff is called and see what we think. Now I will caution you, if you don't like glitter, you might not want to do this because the glitter does tend to stick. I think I'm going to glitter my starfish too. I didn't do that last time. The glitter does tend to stick to the window sheet a little bit because you know that window sheet's kind of staticky. So let's put some glitter on there and see what we think. All right. You could, if you didn't want it to stick to your window sheet, I suppose you could do this part, glitter it before you put the window sheet on there. So that might be a good idea. All right, so do you see how it sticks to the window sheet a lot? So all I do, first thing I do is I blow it. I blow the glitter off, and then just take your hand and wipe some of it off. Just keep brushing that glitter off. If you like the glitter, leave the glitter on. All right, so there we go. There's our 2 shaker cards. This one, the octopus is free floating, and this one I adhered him down. I think I like the one where he's adhered down just a little bit better. And I kind of like the glitter on the on the window sheet. And I think I like it no glitter up here, honestly. So what do you think? Leave me a comment. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I sure had fun making it. It was such a fun card to make, and it's so fun to play with. So if you liked it, please leave me a comment and tell me, let me know. And like, share, and subscribe, please. I would love that if you did that. If you'd like to see these products, we used the Seize the Day stamp set and the Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper. You can go to www.deebeststamping.stampinup.net for a complete look at all the current products, including what we used today. For any orders of $40 or more, I will give you a little bonus gift from me. So I hope that you have enjoyed this, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.